Hey, Professor Sarfo Poku. It's Ashley Allen. Today is July 28th. This is week 4 video lab, and this is Mr. Bones. So I thought I would show you the organs from, or the parts of the lymphatic system on him, because it's hard to point to myself. And again, I don't have a camera person. So up here you can see some pink spots. Those are going to represent our tonsils. Although I know they're higher than that or superior than here, it's up behind more into our mouths. I put them there so you could see them, but I do realize that they're superior than that. So there's our tonsils. This little guy right here is our cervical lymph nodes, and then here's our axillary lymph nodes, and all of these things are, of course, bigger and brighter for the case of learning. I know they're not this big, especially for his portion size. This is the thymus. There's two of them there, and this is right above the heart, almost where a necklace would hit, maybe a little lower. And then the spleen, and then the Peyer's patch, and then the appendix. So the lymphatic system supports the immune system as well as the cardiovascular system. It assists by maintaining blood pressure, preventing infections, and this happens on a daily basis. Let me go over some of these parts. Some tonsils. I know I have 2 there, but we actually have 6 tonsils. Again, something new for me. They're categorized as mucosa-associated lymph tissues, or as our book says, MALTs. They remove pathogens before they go into our body's lungs and stomach. So as we're eating and we're breathing, this mucus in our around our tonsils catches pathogens. Peyer's patch down here, which is located in the distal part of our small intestine, is also categorized as MALTs. And the appendix, which was a surprise to me, actually does something. It destroys any leftover bacteria from the intestines. The spleen, again, very large for Mr. Bones, is a nursery for lymphocytes that we need for the immune system. It also filters blood, creates antibodies by B cells, and destroys defected blood cells. The thymus, this guy over here, above the heart is it's above the heart, and it's most active as an infant and a child, and as we age it atrophies, and anyways it helps create T cells, which again is very vital for our immune system. So the lymphatic system filters over 3 liters of fluid a day, which is over half our blood. This is vital for survival. I think of it kind of like checkpoints for our interstitial fluid, to make sure everything is safe and stable. It kind of like stops certain things, like, hey, what's this? Or is this normal for our body? And then it allows it to keep flowing. And the flow of lymph through the body, lymph is basically a watery substance. It does have water in it. It comes from blood plasma, proteins. It leaks through capillaries from the venules and the arterioles. And when they leak out, the lymphatic capillaries that are woven in the blood capillaries, and the lymphatic capillaries have valves. And when there's pressure outside of them, they open up, the fluid seeks in, and then they close, and it's one direction, just like veins have. And basically, the pressure from the fluids open up that valve. So it shows that this is a closed system. The lymph goes into larger vessels, into lymph nodes, which are, like I mentioned before, balls of cells and proteins, and they go into trunks. We have 9 trunks to be exact. They're all up in the upper portion of our body, and lymphatic ducts. So how do they move? Because our heart moves because our blood moves because we have a heart, right? It's a pump. Actually, smooth muscle is inside the lymphatic system, in our little small muscles inside these capillaries, and of course they get bigger in the veins and the ducts. And the smooth muscle can contract, but what helps it contract is actually being so close to veins and arteries. The pulse of our heart allows the muscle to contract and force the fluid through, also flexing our legs. Like we read in the book, the military men would flex their legs and the muscles would squeeze and then squeeze our lymphatic system and it makes fluid move. Quite fascinating. It's all related. The right duct clears the lymph only from the right side. So here's our right side of Mr. Bones. So it's the right side of the head, right side of the chest, right arm. The right duct only clears this portion, which is a good question. I'd like to know why. And when it's done clearing that, the fluid goes back into the bloodstream via the internal jugular vein and the subclavian vein. The thoracic duct, which is much larger down here on the left side, the right one's over here. The thoracic duct takes the lymph from the whole left side of the body and transfers this whole thing and transfers it to the subclavian vein and the internal jugular vein as well. So the three major roles of the lymphatic system is to return fluid back to the heart, help large molecules move along, hormones, lipids, to enter the blood, which are too big through capillaries. And the third is kind of like a immune surveillance. So I hope that was clear. Thank you very much, Dr. Sarfo Poku, and I appreciate it. Take care.